Hi guys, my name is Samantha Tab, and this is my Module 4, Understanding My Community at Stetson Elementary, but also our district, which is District 49. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is my school is in Colorado Springs, so I do feel like I need to start there because it is a bigger city. So we are a large military community, one Army post, two Air Force bases, and then we also have the Air Force Academy there. In our community, there are 51,895 veterans, which is actually quite a bit, plus all the people that are in the military currently. We are conservative for the most part, voted majority Republican in the last 5 elections. In the last election, it was 56% Republican, 34% Democrat, and 10% Independent. There are well over 400 churches in our community. And then our tourism, that is, a lot of people like to come visit Colorado. It's beautiful. And a lot of people in Colorado Springs like to come visit Pikes Peak, Garden of the Gods, Manitou Springs, and then a lot of people love to do the Manitou Incline. I'm sure there are other things, but those are like the biggest ones. Traditions in our community are the hot air balloon liftoff, which is Labor Day weekend. We do have art walks all the time, bike races, coffin races, fruit cake tosses, ice festivals, polar bear plunges, food festivals, rodeos. We do have the really big World Arena here, so that is a big thing. And we are an Olympic training center area. And then Pikes Peak Marathon is awesome. So my district is just a little bit different than any other district. We have a chief education officer, we have a chief business officer, and then a chief operations officer. I have put the rectangles underneath to show like who is in their little realm of bosses, I guess you could say. So our school is also, or not our school, our district is also in zones. So it's not, I feel like it is one district, but it's really not because we have 4 zones within our district. We have the Sand Creek Zone, the iConnect Zone, the Falcon Zone, and the Power Zone. And they are all under the Chief Education Officer. Then we have our Chief Business Officer, which has the Director of Finance, Risk and Benefit Manager, accounting manager, and community and facility manager. And then we also have our chief operations officer, which has 2 co-directors of facilities. He also has the director of nutrition services, which would be like the lunchroom. And then we have the director of transportation, which is a super hot topic in our district now, busing. So our district is a lot different than every other district. So going into that just a little bit more would be, here's our zone leader. So I'm in the power zone. Stetson Elementary is in the power zone. The principals are under the power zone leader. And then there's the teachers, and then there's the students. But off of the principal also manages, I don't want to say manages parents, but if there are any problems, the principal is the first go-to after the teacher. And then the parents are a part of the PTA, which the principal also kind of approves things on the PTA. The teachers are also a part of the PTA. I would love to say that, or not I would love to say that, I do love to say that a parent or the teachers are a large part of our PTA. And then the PTA, anything that the PTA does, and we love them so much, it directly affects our students and impacts our students and benefits our students, which I love. So again, going back here, our leadership design in our district is very interesting. It's kind of like each zone leader is kind of like a normal superintendent, and then I'll go into that right now. So our district has 4 zones, and here are their logos. Each zone has their own leader, has their own curriculum. However, some schools within the zones have their own curriculum. Each zone has their own philosophy and initiatives. They essentially kind of do their own things, and the principals in the zone report to their zone leader. I will say, though, let me speak as a teacher just for a split second. As a teacher, it's very hard to collaborate with other teachers in our district / sometimes zone if they're teaching the same curriculum as me, because we're not doing the same thing. So it is hard to be like, oh my gosh, so this lesson like totally bombed. What did you do? Because they might not be doing the same thing. Very hard as far as PD. District 49, though, I do love this because we do have a cultural compass. And the middle part, which would be the heart of District 49, would be how we treat each other. We treat each other with respect, care, trust, and responsibility. That is an expectation. And then the outer face is how we treat our work. We always want to be lifelong learners. We always want to learn and teach with purpose. We always want to work with teamwork. And then we always want to be innovative. Obviously, 2020 is a year of what? So we want to make sure that we're innovative. We're teaching to the times. We're teaching as best as we can to the times and what our kids know about and what they want to know about. This is a trying time. So I do love that our zone and our district loves innovation, and we are the power zone, the innovative zone. So we do a lot of that, or at least try to. I do love in our district, though, we have a mix it up day at lunch. So based on surveys from students, which we do give out, lunch is a time where divisions are noticeable. Kids are feeling left out. They're noticing that popular kids are here, the band kids are here, like all of that. That there are set aside days where students need to get out of their comfort zone, and they are encouraged to get out of their comfort zone, and they sit with other people and meet new people. And I do love that. I think it's great. The community groups that we have are Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We have church groups, which we do separate that obviously, but I do know that church groups help the students in my class. So I did want to say that it's not through me, it's through them, their own selves, and they do talk about it. So I did want to include it. PTA, PTO, CEA, Colorado Education Association, huge pushers. Unfortunately, our zone does not have an active agreement or an active union because our zone and district require 50% of teachers to be a part of it, and we're not. So we aren't a strong enough district to have a strong union. I know I am a part of it, so I can always push into it if I need to, and I get their emails, which I love, but I do wish that we had a stronger union. Community members, alumni in our school. So I know that we have a strong alumni that sells insurance, and if we need anything for our classrooms, I know that we can reach out and he will help us with anything that we need. And I know there are other alumni in our building that will do that. Families who own businesses. I know in my class, I've had plenty of families that own businesses, and they are doing pizza Fridays, and they're donating extra supplies to our grade or our school, and we're really grateful for that. And then local colleges, they give their students to us, which help us. We're helping them to learn how to teach, but they're really helping us with our kids, and they're helping us be better teachers in the meantime. The best ways that we communicate with the community and our families and our students are we have Remind, Dojo, and Blooms, and that's school and classroom, just depending on what you use in your classroom. Facebook for our school. I wish it was a little bit more active, but we get out what we need to get out. Email, definitely from the school. They push out a lot of emails, and then classroom emails. District website, school website. We have both of those. All have been revamped. Google Classroom, depending on your classroom. I know the e-learning teachers like myself, we push out a lot more on Google Classroom than the in-person teachers, but we might need to shift on that since we're having a lot more COVID cases in Colorado Springs and in Colorado in general. I do think that other in-person teachers need to utilize Google Classroom a lot more. Internet, obviously, you can look up things about our district and our school on the internet. And then we do have a lot of news channels and radio channels in Colorado Springs. That is the benefit of living in a bigger city. Population characteristics. So our population in our district, not just Colorado Springs, is 89,225. That includes parents, families, anybody who lives in our zones and our district, okay? The age and the sex. So under 18 is 29%, 19 to age 64 is 63%, which is a very large portion of our population in our district. And 65 and up is only 8%. Male and female, 50-50. Pretty good. And then 49.5% of people in our district are married. Then there's race. So 72% of people in our community are white and no other race. Then we have, if we go down here, we have Hispanic and a Latino, that is 15%. We have 5% African American, 2 or more races is also 5%. And then I did add, obviously, American Indian, Alaska Native, Asian and Hawaiian and other Pacific Islander. Those are small percentages that it wasn't very specific based on any website that I went to, but they do make up a portion of our population, and they are also just as important. Then there's education level. So high school graduate or higher, 96%. Bachelor degree or higher, 41.2%. Graduate or professional degree, 14%. Occupation status. So our unemployment rate is 6.2%. The median household income is $87,033, and our poverty rate in our district is 5.4%. Jobs, a lot of the jobs, all over 10%, are administrative work, management work, and sales. Then we have IT and education, which are all over 6%. And then over 5%, we have business and food service. After that, transportation. I did want to include this because I do find this very interesting. Colorado Springs is a very large place. It does take about 20 minutes, I feel like, to get anywhere. So I found this interesting. So transportation, the commute, an average is 28 minutes. 82% of people drive alone, 10% carpool, and then 7% work at home. And I wonder if that is an updated number, because I do feel like the times that we're living in, it should be higher than 7%. And then other people travel through public transportation. They bike or they walk. Obviously, not biking or walking in the winter, but it was included, so I did want to include it. Property taxes. The median home value is $270,500 in my district, and the property ownership, the people who own property in my district, is 79%. At the district business office, I did want to include the funding here. So we do have 24,328 students, and each student, this sounds so horrible to say, is that sounds horrible to say, is a little over $8,000. And then there's the property taxes and then the ownership taxes. That last part, though, I needed to do a little bit more research. I didn't really know what that meant, but I promise I will figure it out. So in our district, social tensions, racial tensions, obviously with the times that we've had, I haven't specifically seen this racial tensions, but it was a big deal at a couple of our board meetings in the spring and over the summer. So I do obviously want to, racism is everywhere, whether we want to admit it or not, okay? I want to acknowledge that it is there, whether I've seen it or not. It is here, duh. Teacher tensions. This is a hard time to be teaching in. So there are tensions of do I want to stay in this job? Am I good enough? Am I not good enough? Do I know what I'm doing? And I do know that a lot of teachers are perfectionists, so it is very hard. There's a lot of tension right now to be a teacher. CEA tension. So obviously, the Colorado Education Association wants what's best for the teachers. So there are tensions with that because there are people who might or might not want what's best for teachers. So I did want to include that. And then just tensions in general. Guys, it's 2020. Is there tension everywhere? Yes, we have to admit that. So I wanted to include that as well. And then public opinion. So our district is so awesome. They send out surveys to all the community members in the district, families, teachers, all of that. Then we also have social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, social media comments, discussions, and pages. I do know that there are pages that are for the schools and are not for the schools. I'm a part of some of them and not the others, but I do see it. I am aware. I type my name in. I want to know what's going on. Public opinion. Some people base their entire life off of it, and some people don't. They take it with a grain of salt, but it is out there, and their social media is the way to get your opinion out nowadays in 2020. Other information that I can include, I did include the VOW, which is the Voices of the Workforce survey that is sent out to all staff members. I wish I could include it here, but I'm not allowed. It is very good questions that I can answer about my district, and I do feel like for the most part, they do take what we say and they rank it, and they want to do what's best for the teachers, because obviously everyone should be trying their best to keep the teachers, because if you have no teachers, you don't have a school. And then the surveys that is sent out to families and community members, which I already mentioned. Here is linked my Board of Education page, which has all the meeting minutes, District 49 staff directory, the census information, and then the Colorado Springs Chamber of Commerce. I hope that I have covered as much as I need to in this presentation, but thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a good night.